Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry, and as you can see, I'm here with my Uplander van, and I think I pretty much finished transferring over to the Nissan NV, and I'm going to show you guys what I did. I just want to give you an idea of how I had this van set up, though, give you guys some ideas. This was the shelf that I had installed when I first got it, over on the right side, obviously. Why do we say things that are obvious? But what I did is I did have a barricade between this end and over to here, which I put in the NV, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then I had this extra shelf up on top, which is actually kind of hanging from the ceiling with these brackets and a wire cable there. And there was a wooden shelf across the back side there, which held some small things. So that was basically the setup, and of course I had the bulkhead there, and I was able to store some things back in here. And I'll show you what I did over here. I actually cut the bulkhead. Originally came all the way over to here, but I cut it open here on both sides so I could slide. I carried 12 gallons of solution in water, actually, and I had one mixed up ready to go all the time. And when I got to a job, if I needed more than what I already had in my machine, I would just mix up the next one. I don't think I ever, maybe once on a residential day, that I ever use up 12 gallons, but very rarely do I do that. Most I would use is maybe 6. So but I always carried enough, and I had the room behind there. So anyway, I pretty much pulled everything out of here, obviously, now. But I wanted to show you this, how that van was set up. And then we'll go over to the NV, and here she is. We actually took a long drive in it today. Went down to Penticton, which is about an hour south of us. This is where my wife and I met. And we got married there, and a lot of memories there. And we were there for a few years, and then we moved to Kelowna. Oh, sirens there. By the way, let me show you the wheels here. Those are sharp, eh? Not a bad price. I got the wheels installed for just under $1,000. Those are the original tires that the van came with. They just transferred them over. Anyway, the van, it's really nice to drive. It certainly isn't a powerhouse, but it is a very nice vehicle to drive, very comfortable. But let's talk about storage. So I'll start with the front here, and I put my roll of tape here, and I haven't put anything on the bulkhead yet. I may yet, and I got my this is actually my residential invoices, estimate invoices are in here, and this is my commercial estimate invoices. Estimate forms, I guess we're going to call them. But I'm going to show you a little thing I did here. If I can get this to move, hang on a minute. There we go. Oh. There we go. And drop it down. And looky at that. I've got 12 gallons of water sitting right here. It was annoying me that as I thought about doing this, that I really want to use every inch of space and make it useful to me. So I was able to basically do the same thing as I had done in the Uplander. I just access it a little different. I just drop this seat drops down flat here, so I can just reach over here, and there's my water. There's one container right here, which is already mixed up, and the other ones are just, 2 of them are water. Actually, I have one that has rocket in it over there. So anyway, that's all ready to roll. The side door, I'm using the side door the same way I had the Uplander set up. On the Uplander I had the rotary sitting in this side. So again, it's sitting on this side. I prefer it that way. I don't like it out the back. I had it that way with my Astro van many years ago. But anyway, I've got it sitting on a wooden frame here, so that it sits very secure. It's not going to move anywhere. So it's sitting right there. It won't go anywhere. See, there's a little bumper up on the side here. and it just sits there nice and snug. And the pre-spray can obviously right here, and it's just fitting in there really snug. It's like on a wooden a piece of plywood as well, so it just fits in there nice, and it's not going to go anywhere. So my pre-spray, and I always carry an extra pump up one just in case the the battery powered one had a problem. The shelf which I put in, it's very solid. I really got it. I got a brace here and a brace across the back. It's not moving at all. I must say I think I did a good job. It was a bit challenging. The bulkhead was a challenge, a little bit of a challenge too, because I found that the instructions were not all that clear. And what turned out, I had actually ordered one with a grill on the top rather than a Lexan panel here, because I wanted to be able to just use the grate to hang things off of if I needed to. But it turned out it was back ordered. So they tried, and this was the only one that was available. So this is the one I got, and actually I think it actually will make sense, because at least this way I can keep the air conditioning, the air in the front and the heat in the back will not be such a problem. I did insulate up here, by the way, and the glue I used, it's a spray stuff, and it's not working very well. I got to go get some other glue and redo this. It's already cut, obviously. This piece just fell down yesterday, I guess. Anyway, so I'll put it back. I'll get some proper glue for that. What else can I say about this? As you can see, I do have my Avenger self-contained extractor right there. I'll come around to the other side and we'll look at that setup. So I'm actually carrying, yes, I do have two vacuums in here. I have the Workhorse as well as the that's funny how that works, eh? Hushstone, and it just happens to just fit in there nice and snug. It's kind of cool. And I hung my Shark right here again, which is where I had it hanging on the Uplander, so that's out of the way. And the Avenger extractor right here, I've got it set. This one is actually kind of neat because the wheels will actually sort of tuck under, and it puts it in a more upright position, which is one of the reasons I really like this machine, which I got from a janitorial firm years ago for like 300 bucks or something. It's an excellent little machine, very compact, works really well. Of course, I have the Oryx sitting right here, and then my spotter tray just fit in there nice and snug. Everything is just a nice tight fit, which is exactly what you want. This bag right here is actually a symbol bag, and I have my hoses in here right now for my PB3 extractor, which is right below it here. I'll show you that in a sec. And when I'm going into a condo, I will pull the hoses out and put my pad driver and my pads in there and use that to carry my pads. Here's my the Oryx drive block or pad driver, and I actually have three of them in here. Here's the Challenger one and the original Oryx one with Velcro I put on. I have some two-way pads as well as Gladiator pads here, which I actually find they work really well. So that's what I have there. Go around to the back. And to the back, I may do some changes in here, but for the most part, this shelf here, I ended up, what happened was, this shelf that I ordered, I went on the WeatherGuard website, and they showed this shelf as being available for the van, and I ordered the shelf, or made the decision which shelf I wanted before I actually had the van. And on the page, it showed that this was for the van, but it isn't, because, well, put it this way, the shelf is 60 inches tall and the van is 50. Wee little problem. So that was the other day when I put the bulkhead in first, and then I went to put the shelf in and realized, oh no, this ain't gonna work. So I called them. That was, I guess, Friday or Saturday I was doing that, and then on Monday I called them and we talked about it, and and they were very matter of fact about it. Okay, well, we'll get you the one you want, and you can't call me back a few minutes later. Not available any longer. Like literally, they've sold out of everything. So we kind of bandied back and forth about what was the options, and then we were going to get one that was a little bit longer. This is 36 inches long, and I really wanted that length because it would just fit in perfectly here, as you can see. The other option was a 44-inch one, which I could have made work by cutting down the shelves shorter. Or what I did is I thought, I called them back 2 minutes later, said, you know what, forget it, I'll keep this one, I'll just cut the top off, which I did. So I cut the top off, and this is the shelf that's sitting over here, because this had 4 shelves. So what do you know, I got an extra shelf out of it. So anyway, everything I had in the Uplander is basically in here. And I actually, this shelf, because this van is higher, I do have a extra shelf in the Uplander. I only had 2 shelves, so I have an extra shelf. And as you can see, I've got up on the top, at the far side there, I've got my stepson, which I've almost never used, but it's there in case the orc, kicks the bucket on the job. I have a snail fan. I vacuum bags, and there's some Doodlebug fiber pads right here. I've got my Namco, or it's actually not Namco, it's a Black & Decker steamer here for getting out wax and stuff like that. I got some extra Doodlebug pads and a handle there for it. All my necessary chemicals, etc. I always carry a couple of Nanomax, which is what my primary cleaner is. ClO2 in liquid form, as well as powder in the background there. A couple other things back there. At the bottom here, I've got some Rocket and some Radical Rinse, a big jug of it. I've got a smaller jug in here somewhere too. Oh, actually it's right down over here. This is actually my leather cleaning kit, which when I'm using the VonSchrader, I can clean leather with that, but I have pads and different things for leather in there, so that would go in as well. Obviously some extension cords, one for the Auric, which has the locking end on it, and then just a normal extension cord, my 2 brushes, my LED spotlight. I have a little fogger here, which I virtually never use, but I carry it along anyway. And at the bottom here, I have another shelf, which was the one that was in the Uplander, and it just barely fit in there, just like I'd made it for it practically. And then my smaller extra little jugs of specialty things, like I got some alcohol over there, and like extra trigger spares, and duct tape. Gotta have that. And as you can see, I have my VonSchrader machine right here on the right. This has actually got my this has, I'll open it up, let you see what we've got in here. This actually has my orbital, my little orbital, which is that great little machine for furniture. And this case contains the extra attachments for my US Products PB3 upholstery tool, which is, the PB3 is of course sitting right beside you here. So I actually, in case you haven't noticed, I'm actually carrying 2 upholstery cleaning machines, plus I have the orbital thing, which I could use if I wanted to. There's some furniture that I absolutely would much prefer to use the VonSchrader on, and other times I'm using the PB3. Now, and in case you're wondering, if I took the VonSchrader out and I took the PB3 out and I put my E600 upholstery machine, they would fit in there, and I'd have tons of room. Tons of room. Way more room than I'd have floor space. So, but I'm carrying extra things in here. Oh, this was actually garbage. Oh, pads. Oh, and by the way, the VonSchrader in here contains the vacuum hose for the VonSchrader, as well as the cleaning head. And there's a few miscellaneous things in there as well. But the VonSchrader has 2 attachments that go onto it. On the left side, there's a thing snaps in there, and this hose that I'm holding right here is where the foam comes down, and the controls are on the other side. The wires for that is, and then the vacuum hose pops onto there. So you actually need to carry that as well as the VonSchrader machine. So, and over here I've got a bunch of Ironman pads, which is my primary extraction pad. I carry white and hog's hair fiber pads for scrubbing carpeting if need be, and I do have 2-ways as well. I've got way more 2-ways than I need to. Probably have way more than of these right now. I tend to overdo it. And of course, then again, here's the other side, where you can see I've got both 2-ways and the gladiator pads for the Oric, and I've got a bunch of spotter towels there as well. And that's how I did it. Oh, here's my pad driver. I guess I'll put it up over there. I thought that was kind of handy, getting it up and out of the way. I could do the shelf across here like I have in the Uplander, but if I did that, then I would lose the ability to see out my window, because this van came with windows. Not all of them do. It does have a backup camera and a radar warning thing as well, but it is kind of nice to be able to actually see out the back. I haven't seen out the back of my Uplander, well, pretty much ever. So it's kind of nice to be able to look in my mirror and see cars, you know, behind me or whatever. And so I probably will not do the shelf across. What I think I might do is this shelf here, what I might do is I might put it on a hinge, so that if I wanted to, I could just fold it up against the wall for whatever reason. I've just got, it's actually attached quite securely over here, and on the other end it's bolted right into the wall. But there's nothing on the outside holding it up other than these bungee cords, so I may put a like a metal rod down here to make it more secure. I'm just going to try it like this for a while and see if I like it. And I like the idea of putting the hinges on it, though. That could be kind of neat to be able to flip it up and out of the way. You know, if I'm carrying extra things in the back, I could carry my Orbitech carpet machine, which actually, if I take out, when I'm doing commercial, I actually always bring my rotary anyway, even if I'm using the Orbitech. But the Orbitech sits right in there. I already tried that out. When I first got the van, I put both the Orbitech and the rotary in there, and there's no problem at all. Actually, I did a job the other day with Roger, and I carried the Orbitech and my rotary and my big dolly for carrying jugs, and actually 2 dollies for carrying jugs and things like that. So actually, this has turned out pretty darn well, I think. It's actually a little more, I think it's actually more efficient in some ways than the Uplander was. Maybe even a bit more organized, but if I am able to keep, or if I, as long as I use it, I would of course be deciding whether or not I liked it the way it is or not. This shelf obviously is going to stay right here. This obviously, that's the only option for that. But so look how solid I got that thing in there. Oh, that's great. The shelf in the Uplander, I had it installed by somebody else, you know. Supposedly knew what they were doing. They didn't even put bracing onto the walls for it. I didn't even realize that till sometime later, when it started getting kind of loose and sort of moving around. I was like, what? No bracing? So I braced it. But anyway, this is really solid. I had to use these what they call these special bolts that go in, and then you have this little adapter, and you drill a hole and you stick this thing through, and it's got this funny, I think they call it a blind bolt or something. And but boy, really solid. Had to go through the floor. I got 4 bolts going through the floor there, 2 on each end, that is. But anyway, that's the way I did it. And I know some of you guys are kind of curious when you saw that I had this van, wanted how I would set it up, and so maybe that'll give you some ideas if you have one of these vans, or you know, any van. And one of the things I really wanted to do is I realized that I actually have about 8 inches or so greater height up here. So I wanted to put that to use, and having that extra shelf right there, that makes a really a big difference. So a jug won't fit up there though, unless I dropped. But if I dropped this shelf here, then a jug wouldn't fit here. So you have to go this high. And then I don't think a jug would fit up there. Well, maybe it would. Okay, well, I don't need to yet anyway. We'll see. You know, I'll experiment with it, fiddle around with it, see how I like it. But right now, I think this will work really well. Oh, I like the like where I got my my grooming tools. Actually, well, this is obviously for when I'm doing an area rug. I will take this in and the Swiffer around the area rug. I get a little bit of overspray or whatever, and this is my, when I'm grooming, I normally would use this tool rather than the Grandy with the teeth. I like this one better, although I rarely do that. I use the vacuum obviously most of the time. So anyway, that's how I did it, and it's going to be nice to have you know, this nice new van, and it looks sharp and modern, and of course I have no signs on it yet. Maybe I'll be a ghost carpet cleaner. I probably wouldn't do that. I could though. I could speed like crazy, nobody would know it's me. Of course this thing doesn't actually speed now, does it? It's too it's not fast. It's not a powerhouse by any means, but you know what, that's okay, because they're rated at 25 miles per gallon city, and that's getting more and more important, and that's one thing we need to always bear in mind as carpet cleaners, that these are the things that really cost us in the long run. You know, spending money on gas when you don't, you know, a V8 or whatever, when you don't really need it. And I did lease this van, and the lease payments, well, there's different ways you can do it, but we went with a 3-year lease, and payments around $600 a month or so. Buyout I think is around $15,000, and with a 5-year warranty, 160,000 kilometers or 100,000 miles. Yeah, that was a major decision. The reason why the decision was to go with this van. I'm hoping it'll turn out to be in the long run, assuming that I'm still carpet cleaning, it'll be a good long-lasting vehicle for me. So we'll see how that goes, and of course, unless the world comes crashing to an end, which the way things are going, you know, we'll see what happens, right? Just hang in there, and you know, put your trust in God, and because He's the only answer in this mad world. And it's not going to get better, I'm afraid, guys. Sorry. Anyway, I'll let you go, and I hope you find that helpful to those of you who are, have one of these vans, or are thinking about one. So you can do it. There you go. The little van is a lot easier on gas. So have a good day.